I never imagined I'd find myself collaborating so intimately with my son in a fervent artistic endeavour, our hearts racing, boundaries dissolving into indistinction. But that evening, everything transformed. Greetings, I'm Evelyn, 42, a spouse, a parent, and someone who ventured into an emotional realm I hadn't foreseen. How did an ordinary painting session spiral into the most perilous emotional landscape I've ever traversed? Have you ever been perceived by another in a way that fulfilled a longing you didn't even recognize? Share your reflections below. Was it isolation, fragility, or something far more profound that led me there? I'm eager to hear your insights. My tale began on a frigid January morning, with winter cloaking the world outside in a dense, hushed layer of snow. The external world seemed frozen, yet my thoughts were in turmoil. My son, Nathan, a gifted 21-year-old artist, had secluded himself in the space he dubbed his studio. A corner of our home he'd turned into his sanctuary, brimming with incomplete canvases, paint jars, and strewn brushes. That morning, I bundled myself in a thick robe to fend off the piercing chill creeping through the house's crevices, sitting at the kitchen table with a steaming mug of coffee. Nathan had painted late into the night, and I couldn't bear to rouse him early. As I gazed quietly at the frost-etched window, the familiar creak of the staircase broke the stillness. "Morning, Mom," Nathan said in his calm tone, clutching a teacup and a freshly painted canvas. His hair was dishevelled, his face bore the remnants of sleep, but his eyes sparkled with fervent enthusiasm. He gently leaned the painting against the counter. I smiled, sensing the vibrant energy he exuded, even amidst the icy winter. "Did you rest well?" I asked, blending curiosity with concern. Nathan shrugged, a bashful grin emerging. "Got lost in a project. Want to see?" I nodded, my heart swelling with anticipation. He revealed the canvas, and I inhaled sharply. It was a stunning work, a figure bathed in gentle light, radiating both strength and fragility. Its depth was striking, surpassing what I thought a 21-year-old could convey. "It's breathtaking, Nathan," I murmured sincerely. "You have a remarkable talent." A faint blush coloured his cheeks. "Thanks, Mom. I wouldn't be here without you." We shared a wordless moment, a profound connection between mother and son, two solitary souls beneath the same cold roof. My husband, my partner of decades, was a decent man, but his work and hobbies often kept him absent, leaving a lingering void I'd grown accustomed to. Yet, in that instant, gazing at Nathan, my son, now a remarkable man, I felt our deep emotional bond, one I cherished profoundly. That afternoon, as faint sunlight filtered through frosted windows, curiosity drew me to Nathan's studio. The air was thick with the scent of oil paint, old canvas, and wooden frames. A soft golden glow bathed the unfinished works, casting a tranquil beauty. Nathan stood at his easel, brush moving with unwavering focus. He glanced up, a warm, half-apologetic smile spreading across his face. "Curious, Mom?" he teased, eyes alight with familiarity. I stepped inside, smiling. "May I see?" He stepped aside, revealing a series of hands, each capturing a distinct emotion: pain, comfort, resolve, painted with delicate yet forceful strokes. "They're exquisite, Nathan," I said, unable to conceal my awe. "You see what others overlook." He set down his brush, his gaze thoughtful. "I want to start a series on the human body, Mom. Not just its form, but its emotions, connections, things words can't capture." His words stirred something within me, echoing my own buried loneliness, my yearning to be heard and seen. I nodded softly. "You have a unique vision, Nathan." In that moment, our invisible bond tightened, not merely as mother and son, but as two kindred spirits finding rare harmony. A cold breeze slipped through the window, lifting the curtains, underscoring the room's heavy stillness. That evening, with my husband away at his usual bowling night, the house felt emptier. Just Nathan and I, two warm presences against the biting winter. I sat in the living room, leafing through an old magazine, feigning busyness to mask the void. Suddenly, Nathan emerged from his studio, holding a small box, his eyes reflecting the firelight's glow. "Mom, I have an idea," he said, setting the box before me, voice brimming with excitement. Surprised, I looked up. "What's this?" He rubbed his hands, barely containing his enthusiasm. "I want to paint you. Not a standard portrait, but how I truly see you." I froze, not at the idea of being painted, but at the sincerity in his gaze, as if I were his entire world. "There's a gift in the box," he added, smiling shyly. "I'd like you to wear it when you pose." My heart raced as I opened the box, revealing a red satin robe shimmering in the firelight. Flustered, I met his calm, trusting eyes, free of any pressure, only admiration and a deep, unspoken desire. "Let me paint you as you are." My hands trembled as I touched the smooth fabric, its rich red glowing like embers in the cold. It was both alluring and exposing. Nathan waited patiently, respecting my choice. I took a deep breath. Part of me, the dutiful mother, the woman buried under obligation, hesitated. But another part, yearning to be seen, stirred. "All right," I whispered, voice unfamiliar. His face lit up with a radiant smile. He nodded, gesturing toward the stairs. "I'll set up. Change and come down when you're ready." Clutching the box, I ascended the stairs, each step widening the chasm between reason and emotion. In my bedroom, I shed my heavy clothes, revealing skin softened by time. The satin robe glided over my curves, fitting as if crafted for me. In the mirror, I barely recognized the woman staring back, a mother, a wife worn by duty yet with eyes, suddenly alive, revealing the Evelyn of unvoiced dreams and desires. I tightened the robe, summoning courage, and descended. Nathan had transformed the living room. An armchair sat near the roaring fireplace, a soft white curtain draped behind, the space aglow with a warm, dreamlike light. As I entered, his gaze lingered, openly admiring, not the look of a child, but a blend of reverence and something unnamed. "You look beautiful," he said, voice low and hoarse. I smiled faintly, masking my fluster, and settled into the chair as he directed. "Sit, naturally, comfortably," he instructed, brush in hand. I sank into the fire's warmth, shedding the weight of daily cares. The soft clink of brush on palette and the steady strokes on canvas filled the silence like a heartbeat. Nathan worked quietly, his dark eyes studying my wrist's curve, the light on my collarbone, the robe's folds. His gaze was tender yet deliberate, capturing every detail. When our eyes met, a profound emotion stirred within me. No words were spoken, but something shifted, a vulnerability blossoming in the silent winter night. The firelight danced on the walls, casting shades of orange and red. Each brushstroke felt like it touched my deepest emotions, not just my form. I sat still, but inside my senses were taut. After a time, Nathan set down his brush, wiped his hands, and approached. "Are you cold, Mom?" His voice was gentle. I shook my head, though my heart trembled more than the wind outside. "Just need to adjust," he said softly, as if afraid to disturb the stillness. He lifted my chin gently, letting the firelight fall across my face. His warm, steady hand made my heart clench. His gaze held mine, unwavering, filled with trust and silent admiration. I knew I should look away, but I couldn't. His hand fell away, the distance between us a mere breath. "I've never seen anyone as beautiful as you right now," he said. I swallowed hard. How long since I'd heard such words, not from my distant husband, nor from others whose glances had turned indifferent. Only Nathan's sincerity made me feel valued. "You're too kind," I whispered, my smile trembling. Our eyes acknowledged a deep, unnameable connection, within boundaries, but undeniable. Silence fell. Nathan resumed painting, but something had shifted permanently. I sat, the fire warming my robe, feeling his occasional glances, no longer a child's, but a quiet acknowledgement full of feeling. Time slowed, each second thick with meaning. When Nathan set down his brush again, he sat before me, his brown eyes silently waiting. I touched his tousled hair gently, a simple gesture like two souls meeting after a lonely journey. No words, no lines crossed, only a tender presence, enough for two wounded souls to feel unalone. After that moment, the room grew heavy with unspoken emotions. Nathan, still before me, his face a mix of fear and hope, watched as I stood and stepped toward the fireplace, needing space to breathe. His gaze followed my every move. "Mom," he called softly, voice catching. I turned, meeting eyes filled with sincerity, longing, and confusion. I began, but stopped. What words could capture the storm in my heart? Nathan rose, approaching slowly, each step a silent question. "Do you regret it, Mom?" he asked, voice trembling but resolute. I looked at him, seeing fear, innocence, and courage. Regret. I regretted my long loneliness, the emptiness in my heart. But this moment, I shook my head firmly. Nathan exhaled as if shedding a burden. He stepped closer and I didn't retreat. His hand found mine, warm and tight. Without words, we knew a fragile boundary had broken, irreparable. "Going to be sad, Mom?" he whispered, eyes holding me. "I just want you happy." I smiled sadly, heart tightening. When had my protector become my soul's seeker? I stroked his face, tender as when he was a child. "Don't," I said, but the touch held more, deeper, painful, beautiful. We stood close, and when Nathan's supportive touch rested on my shoulder, I closed my eyes. A simple kiss, yet tears flowed, not from regret or fear, but from being truly seen after years of invisibility. Nathan stood quietly, offering silent comfort, shielding me from the world. I leaned into him, shedding my strong facade. "I'm here," he whispered. "I won't leave you alone." I knew the promise was naive, the moment a mistake in society's eyes. But in that warm-lit room, we were two lonely souls who found each other. I let myself linger in that embrace, knowing tomorrow's reality might be too harsh. Tonight, in this bitter winter, I was alive, loved. The next morning, soft winter sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting a gentle glow. I woke, the blanket warm, my heart heavy. Nathan was gone. Sitting up, I listened to the silence, no longer peaceful but filled with anticipation. Downstairs, dishes clinked faintly. I donned a robe and descended, heart racing. Nathan stood at the counter preparing breakfast, his gaze meeting mine. Worry, love, and regret mingled in his eyes. "Morning, Mom," he said, voice deep but trembling. "Coffee?" I nodded, doubting my voice's steadiness. He poured coffee into my favorite mug, careful, as if each action could shatter our fragile balance. My hand brushed his as I took the cup, freezing us both. He looked at me, wanting to speak, then stopped. I sat, gripping the mug, clinging to normalcy. "Mom," he said hesitantly, "I'm sorry if last night made you uncomfortable." I met his gaze, seeing quiet pain. "No, Nate," I said hoarsely. "I don't regret it, but we need time to understand." He nodded, lips pressed tight, and sat across from me, the space intimate yet heavy. We sat in silence as snow fell outside, each flake soft on the windowsill. I watched, wondering when my life had veered so far from what I knew. Once a strong wife and mother, now I held unnameable emotions. "I know," I said slowly. "Last night was wrong to the world." Nathan clenched his fists. "I don't care about the world," he choked. "I care about you. I don't want you alone." My heart tightened. Had anyone seen my loneliness so clearly? "You deserve a full life, Nathan," I whispered. "Not my shortcomings." He shook his head. "You're not a shortcoming. You're my light, why I want to be better." Tears fell silently. I covered my mouth, stifling sobs. Nathan knelt before me. "I care deeply and won't let you feel alone." I rested my head on his shoulder, no longer resisting. Two people in a world that wouldn't accept them. Yet in that moment, I was loved, in a way I thought lost. We sat long, as if parting would shatter everything, Nathan's hands gripping mine, his gaze urgent. I lifted his chin, meeting eyes of admiration and pain. Nathan, I whispered, we must think carefully. Last night wasn't fleeting. It changes everything. He nodded. I know, and I accept it. As snow fell, I burned with emotion, part wanting to flee, part longing to stay. I stood, saying, I need a walk to think. Nathan nodded, eyes hiding pain. Outside, cold air stung my face, snow sparkling in the weak light. I walked, footprints trailing like my past. I thought of Nathan's gaze, his whispered words, my absent husband, and the woman I'd lost. Once vibrant, now faded. When had I vanished? A wind made me shiver, but Nathan's warmth, his embrace, his seeing me sustained me. I returned, heart heavy, knowing a decision loomed. Nathan waited on the couch, rising as I entered, eyes hopeful yet worried. Mum, have you thought? I approached, trembling, touching his cheek. He leaned into my hand, exhaling. Nathan, I said, voice catching, I can't deny what we felt, but you have a future. His gaze burned. I know what I want. I don't regret it. I squeezed his hand, drawing courage from the man I'd raised, now loved in a forbidden way. Let time guide us, I whispered. We don't need to rush, but I can't pretend nothing happened. He smiled faintly, leaning to offer gentle, reverent words. I'll wait, he whispered, no matter how long. For the first time, I dared believe love, though wrong to the world, could bloom if we followed our hearts. That winter night lingered like a tender scar. Nathan and I moved cautiously, not labeling our bond, simply existing together, weaving sweet yet dangerous moments. David noticed nothing, still consumed by work and trips. I managed the home, but my heart was divided. Nathan's gaze broke my walls, our connection deepening through brushstrokes and gestures. One rainy afternoon, he knelt before me, taking my hand. Mom, he whispered, I'm not going anywhere. I don't care what the world thinks, I need you. I bit my lip, holding back tears. Nathan, don't. His gaze burned. You're not alone in this. I knew I couldn't deny our mutual need to be seen, loved as individuals. We embraced. A vow to hold on, right or wrong. But reality intruded. One night, David returned early, finding us close on the couch. His gaze froze, scanning us. Silence suffocated the room. Nathan stood, but I squeezed his hand. It's nothing, I whispered, guilty. David's cold stare lingered, then he turned away silently, his quiet departure more painful than any outburst. I lay awake, the house's noises amplifying the silence. Everything had changed, our emotions were exposed. One morning, Nathan stood at my door, suitcase in hand, eyes red but resolute. I'm leaving, he said. We both need time. I nodded, swallowing tears. Wherever you are, I'll always love you, I whispered. The door closed, and I stood in the empty house, heart shattered. Some boundaries once crossed can't be undone. I don't justify what happened, but in that cold moment, we saw each other as lonely humans craving love. Nathan's departure taught me love, misplaced, becomes a lasting wound. Mistakes, even silent, pulse in every heartbeat. I don't know the future, only that part of me is forever broken. What do you think? Has loneliness ever driven you to such extremes? Would you choose silence to preserve what you have or face forbidden emotions? Share your thoughts below. I'm eager for your genuine feelings, as they might reveal parts of ourselves